What's up everyone, Bestinwest here, and sorry I haven't put out a video in a bit. I haven't gotten to any of my tournament battles, but here it is, my North American Open Qualifiers, aka the Rainbow Cup at GoFest Chicago 2019. I did pretty well in this tournament. There was a good amount of people, 45 participants. I think a couple people ended up dropping out because, yeah, for whatever reason, it was taking too long. They want to go back to GoFest. Whatever the case, there was 6 rounds. I ended up pretty well, 5-1, losing my first match, which you will see in a second. But yeah, I did pretty well this tournament, but at the same time, I recently just had my El Cerrito tournament and I went 1-4. So no matter how well you do, you can definitely do pretty bad just the same. Like, for sure, I faced tough competition at this Open Qualifiers, and there was a lot of good trainers here. The ones that I did win, it could have just been luck with the lead or charge move priority. We'll take a look at these battles together, so let's go. Alright, so our first battle is against USC Kevin, and he is running Venusaur, Charizard, Lantern, Kingdra, Quagsire, and Fortress. Now, I was kind of nervous. I didn't really know what I should do, so I kind of went with the lineup that I've had success with in training. So with that being said, I didn't really look at his team too much. I just decided to go with what worked for me. And what worked for me was the double grass technique. So with that said, what you do is you lead off with a grass Pokemon. In this case, I'm going to lead off with Meganium. I bring in something that, so what counters Meganium? Venusaur, Charizard, Fortress. So those are the Pokemon that counter Meganium. So what do? I bring in a counter to that counter, and that is Charizard. So I bring in Charizard, and then I bring in another grass Pokemon, because probably if they pick a balanced team, they're gonna have something that counters Charizard. And so that's Quagsire, Lantern, maybe Kingdra. So if that's the case, then I'm gonna have Venusaur in the back to take out that last Pokemon. So that's what I do. I go Meganium, Charizard, Venusaur. I didn't really look at his team, but let's see how I do. Alright, getting into the battle against USC Kevin, I lead off with Meganium, he leads off with Venusaur. This is a negative matchup for me because Sludge Bomb does charge faster than my Earthquake. So what I do is I just decide not to block. I'm kind of just sacrificing my Meganium, saving those shields for Charizard and Venusaur. So I'm going to get this Earthquake off. If he shields it, that's okay. If he doesn't, it does tons of damage. So that's exactly what I was hoping for. Now he's going to get another charge move off. He uses Sludge Bomb. Okay, so now I have 2 shields, he has 2 shields. I send in Charizard, knock out his Venusaur, have a little bit of energy stored up. He's thinking probably what to send in. He's going to send in Lantern. I'm going to switch out to Venusaur. So he's going to switch out into his Fortress. So this is a negative matchup for me. This is just bad news, right? So when you're stuck in a Venusaur versus Fortress matchup, just go ahead and use Frenzy Plans. Try to just do as much damage as you can. Now, the thing is, I have Charizard left. So what I actually want to do is just not do that much damage to Fortress and charge my charge moves by beating Fortress. Now, this kind of comes back to bite me in the ass because he's going to get another charge move off and I'm going to have to block this. And so I'm pretty much down to 0 shields. He still has a Lantern left. No matter what I get off, he can block it and he can easily take out my Charizard. So this was just a case of bad leads, and he picked really good Pokemon to go up against my Pokemon. Yeah. Now, as you can see, something's wrong with the video. It got corrupted or something, but he beats me. He had 2 shields. Thunderbolt definitely kills my Charizard, and yeah, he takes game 1. Alright, going into this second battle with USC Kevin, I decided to switch it up a little bit. I decided to go with Venusaur, Lapras, and Charizard. So Charizard because I need a counter for that Fortress and the Venusaur. Lapras because it actually counters a lot of his team. So maybe 5 out of his 6 Pokemon. Well, it's a relatively neutral matchup. The only Pokemon that Lapras will do very poorly in is against that Lantern. In hindsight, I probably should have led with Lapras, but I led with Venusaur, and you'll see what ends up happening. But pretty much, I go Venusaur, Lapras, Charizard, and yeah, you'll see what happens. Alright, getting into the battle. Lead off with Venusaur. He leads off with Kingdra. Now, this is a okay matchup for Venusaur actually. It's good. Venusaur is going to be doing neutral damage to Kingdra, and I'm going to go ahead and use Frenzy Plant right here. He's going to go ahead and block that. He is going to get a charge move off right here, and I feel like I should have blocked that. I would have gotten another Frenzy Plant off and would have dealt a lot of damage, but instead I just opt for the shield advantage. But with the shield advantage, I don't get switch advantage, right? No, I do have switch advantage, but he sends out Lantern instead of staying in with Kingdra. Now, because of that, now I have to face this Lantern because Lantern will completely dominate Charizard, right? Like, nothing that Charizard has will do well against Lantern, versus at least my Lapras can spam my Surfs and deal a decent amount of damage to his Lantern. Now, again, I'm just going to spam my Surfs until I knock out Lantern or he knocks me out. So it's going to get a Thunderbolt off. I have 1 shield. I have Charizard. So I get 1 shot in. He's going to send out Kingdra. His Kingdra has a lot of energy stored up. I know that he has a shield left as well. Now he's going to get this Outrage off. I do have to block this. Otherwise my Charizard is dead. I'm going to get this Dragon Claw off that, you know, he's going to block this. He's going to, those Dragon Breaths are dealing so much damage to me, and he's also resisting my Fire Spins. So he has Fortress left. Look at how much health he has left. Now, I really wish I had tried to use that Blast Burn because that would have won me this battle. He got 1 more Bug Bite off. That's all I needed. But yeah, he got that Rock Tomb off, and that's it. GG. Alright, so looking back at it now, I wished I had led with Lapras instead. Lapras versus Kingdra would have been a great matchup. I have a good positive matchup against maybe 5 out of his 6 Pokemon with Lapras as a lead. I should have stayed there. I think it would have been more advantageous for me to do that, but I didn't, right? It is what it is. If I had done that, you know, it would have set up Charizard for Fortress. It would have set up Venusaur for Lantern. A lot of things would have fell into place, but obviously I didn't know what he was going to use. I went with my gut in this case, and my gut led me wrong. Sometimes that happens, but yeah, that's what I probably should have done. Moving on to the second round. Alright, so for the second round, I'm battling Friskachu, and Friskachu is running Fortress, Quagsire, Charizard, Double Grass, and Lantern. Now, what I see is that the majority of her team is going to be bad against Lapras, so I go ahead and actually lead Lapras this time, what I should have done in the past. Now, that will set things up for the rest of my team, and I follow Lapras up with Venusaur and Charizard. So Lapras, Venusaur, and Charizard. Yeah, let's see how I do. Alright, so starting off the battle, I lead with Lapras. She leads with Lantern. This is a terrible matchup for me. I do very little damage to Lantern, so I go ahead and instant switch to Venusaur. She goes ahead and switches into Charizard, which is the right choice. Now I get a Sludge Bomb off. There's a little bit of lag, but I do get it off. She shields it as she should. So I think she got a little bit of lag. I got a little bit of lag. I get another Sludge Bomb off. and she blocks that one. So she is down 2 shields now. I decide to forego my shield and let her blast burn go off. Now I send my Lapras back out. She has no more shield, so I think that was a mistake on her part. Like, maybe, I'm not sure. But anyways, she goes ahead and uses the Dragon Claw. I'm gonna get this Surf off right here, and this is going to deal super effective damage and knock out her Charizard. She has an Exeggutor. Now I have Ice Beam. She has no shield, so this is perfect for me. I get this Ice Beam off, bam, knocks out that that Exeggutor. She has Lantern left. Now I'm just going to do as much damage as I can because I know Charizard is not going to do any damage to this Lantern. So I'm going to try to just chip damage her down, spam that Surf, do as much damage as I can. Because at least these charge moves will do some damage, right? So get this Surf off, and she has very little health left, but I think this is where she made her mistake. She used Thunderbolt. If she saved that Thunderbolt for my Charizard, that may have been the deciding factor. I'm not quite sure, but luckily for me, I was able to pull that one off. GG. Alright, getting into this next battle, pretty much I decide to go with the same team. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I usually like to say, and I kinda should remember to follow that mentality more often because my initial lead was correct. So I'm just gonna go with the same lineup and see what adjustments she makes. So yeah, Lapras, Charizard, Venusaur. Alright, getting right into the battle, we lead off with Lapras, she leads off with Venusaur. So this is a positive matchup as long as we make sure to get to 2 shields, right? Now I'm going to get this Surf. If she decides not to shield this, it's going to deal damage, but she decides to shield it. She gets a Frenzy Plant off, and I decide to shield this because it would be super effective damage. She goes ahead and switches into Lantern. I switch into Venusaur. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. She's going to get a Thunderbolt off, and I overcharge some. Just so for the next Pokemon right here, I overcharge, get this Frenzy Plant off, and she decides not to block it. So right here I almost have a Sludge Bomb, and I get my Sludge Bomb off, and she decides not to block it. Knocks out her Venusaur, so down 2 Pokemon, she has a Charizard. And I tried to get greedy and use the Sludge Bomb. Instead, I should have just probably went for the Frenzy Plant, but I have Lapras, and Lapras is going to do work against this Charizard right here. She decides to block that, and she gets a Dragon Claw off right here. I block it, not knowing what it is, but that's totally fine. She's going to get another charge move off right here. I feel like she probably should have charged up a little bit more to try to get that Blast Burn, but that's totally fine with me because I was the beneficiary of that, and I knock out her Charizard. GG. Alright, so we made it to round 3, and we're matched up against Kalena, and she's a native Chicagoan. I think that's how you say people originally from Chicago. But anyway, she's running Raichu, Quagsire, Beedrill, Lantern, Venusaur, and Charizard. So I think I go ahead and use the double grass technique again. So instead of Charizard, I use Quagsire instead because positive matchups against Lantern and Beedrill. So yeah, the strategy still is the same. I still try to do the same thing. So let's see how it goes. Alright, getting into the battle, I lead off with Meganium. She leads off with Lantern. Great lead. So I'm going to go ahead and charge, but she's going to switch out into Beedrill. So Beedrill is a great Pokemon against the grass type, so I need to get out of there, and I believe this one is running Bug Bite, so I switch into Quagsire. She's going to use X-Scissor right here, and that's not going to do a ton of damage, but a decent amount of damage. I believe my fast attack is dealing super effective damage or neutral damage, and I'm going to go ahead and get this Stone Edge off. If she doesn't block, it's going to deal super effective damage and knock her out. gonna send out Lantern, and I get this Stone Edge off just in the nick of time, and it's gonna deal a good amount of damage if she doesn't block. Yep, and she does. I didn't want to be greedy and use Earthquake because she was about to knock me out really fast. She sends out Charizard. I'm gonna go ahead and try to bait this last shield with this Frenzy Plant, and luckily I did, and I have just enough to get another Frenzy Plant off, so just enough, and she lets that one go too. And I send out my Venusaur. She has a little bit of energy, goes ahead and use that Dragon Claw. I go ahead and shield this one, last burn. Luckily I guessed correctly, and I go ahead and get this last Frenzy Plant off and knock out her Charizard. But she still has one shield and she has Lantern. Not a lot of health on that Lantern, but enough, right? So I'm trying to get to that, try and knock her out, try to burn this shield just in case, but it won't matter. She beats me out with water guns. GG. So close though, so close though. Alright, so this time I decide to change it up. I decide to lead off with Quagsire because it has positive matchups against 4 of her 6 Pokemon. Raichu, Beedrill, Lantern, and Charizard, and a neutral matchup against Quagsire. And if she leads off with Venusaur, I'm going to switch right into my Lapras. So that's the adjustment I made. Let's see how I do. Alright, getting right into the battle. I lead off with Quagsire, she leads off with Raichu. Great lead matchup for me. So she dealing super effective damage with my fast moves. I'm resisting her fast moves. She's gonna get a charge move off, Thunder Punch, not very effective. I'm gonna get this Stone Edge off to try to bait this shield. If not, it's gonna deal a lot of damage, which it does, and I'm gonna knock her out anyways. So 2 shields each. She sends out Venusaur. I'm going to send out Lapras. She's going to send out Charizard. So, yeah, this is a positive matchup for me still. I'm going to get that Surf off. And she's going to go ahead and use this Dragon Claw. Baited with my shield, but that's still okay. I'm going to get this Surf off. Charge up. Now I think this is a Dragon Claw, but it's a Blast Bird, knocks out my Lapras. It's okay, I have Quagsire. She has no more shields. Go ahead and use this Stone Edge right here. Knock out that Charizard. She has Venusaur. I have 1 shield left. She has no shields left, and this is her last Pokemon. So that's totally fine. I don't know what happened right there, but maybe she didn't charge up all the way to gain some energy. Now I do have a shield right here, so Sludge Bomb, block it. I should be able to get to this Sludge Bomb before her, and I do. There's a little bit of lag. I don't think it would have mattered in that case, but GG. I take out the second battle. Alright, for this last battle with Kalena, I decided to follow my gut and say don't change it if it ain't broken. So lead off with Quagsire, follow that up with Lapras and Venusaur. Let's see how it goes. Getting straight into the battle. She leads off with Venusaur, so this is a negative matchup for me. I'm gonna have to switch into my Lapras right away, and I'm at a slight disadvantage right now, so technically she should win this. But she goes ahead and uses Frenzy Plant and switches out into Beedrill. So this is still a pretty good matchup for me. This is actually probably a better matchup for me than against Venusaur. She decides to forego shields with that Beedrill, and I get another Surf off because I overcharged a bit. She decides to block that one. She's using Bug Bite, which doesn't deal a ton of damage, and she's going to get a charge move off. I decided to forego shields and take that and knock her out with fast moves. She has 1 shield. We each have 1 shield, and sends out? She sends out Venusaur. I go ahead and get this Ice Beam off, and boom, she didn't block it. So she has Charizard left. I should be able to get this Surf off. She should block this. She only has one shield left, and she blocks it. Now I have Venusaur. I sent out Venusaur just because I wanted to drain her energy. I don't know if it was like the smartest idea, but I'm trying to get this Sludge Bomb off. I do get this Sludge Bomb off, and knock out her Charizard. GG, and I take round 3. Alright, so we made it to the 4th round of this 6-round tournament. Such a long tournament, ended up being like 2 hours, 2.5 hours or something like that. Anyways, getting into this battle, facing Echo. This was her first tournament, and she did really well. Up to this point, she was 2-1, and this round ends up going to 3 battles. And I can definitely see why she's had such a good record so far. But anyways, looking at her team, I decided to lead off with Venusaur because it has a good to neutral matchup in 4 of the 6 Pokemon. The other option was Quagsire, so I definitely brought Quagsire, but I led off with Venusaur, brought Quagsire, and I think I had Lapras as well. So it was Venusaur, Quagsire, Lapras. See how I do. Alright, so getting into this battle, I lead off with Venusaur, she leads off with Fortress. Terrible matchup for me, I have to get out of there ASAP. I go ahead and switch into Quagsire. She goes ahead and charges some energy. I go ahead and get this Stone Edge off, which will deal neutral damage, but she decides to block it. She goes ahead and switches into her own Quagsire. Now, I try to bait the shield right here. It does not work. She goes ahead and takes it. Now, I thought she was baiting the shield, but nope. She got the Earthquake on me, knocks out my Quag. That one hurt. That one hurt quite a lot, actually. Now, I'm going to go ahead and farm this Quag. I am switch locked right now. She goes ahead and sends out her Fortress and uses Earthquake. Luckily, I blocked that. I go ahead and charge up some energy, switch into Lapras. This is a good matchup for me as long as it gets to 1 shield. She does have some energy stored up, so we'll have to see how this goes. Since she hasn't blocked yet, I don't block. Earthquake does a ton of damage to me. I wish I may have shielded that, but it is what it is. I get this Surf off, trying to knock her out. Oh, not enough. And she gets a charge move off, and I'm going to block this. It's a heavy slam. I'm just good. Go ahead and use this Frenzy Plant because her fast move, Bug Bite, is dealing tons of damage to me. It sends out Charizard. She has no more shields, but this isn't going to be enough. Her fast moves are dealing super effective damage. She has enough for a Dragon Claw, and that's GG for the first battle. Alright, so for the second battle, I didn't really feel like I lost that one too badly, and my read was pretty good. She might be expecting me to change my lineup, and so what do? I decide not to change my lineup. Kind of risky, but at the same time, I wasn't sure how she was going to play. So I go ahead and just stick with the same lineup and cross my fingers and hope it does well. Let's see how it does. Alright, so we're going to get right into this battle. And Venusaur versus Venusaur, mirror match. Now, this is all about baiting and trying to see who chickens out first. So I want to at least draw a shield. So shield or deal super damage. So I go ahead and do Sludge Bomb first. I'm going to shield right here. So right now I'm at advantage. I don't have to bait shields anymore. She still has to bait shields or something, but she switches into Charizard. Unfortunately, this Frenzy Plant is going to hit, but she shields. So that's just positive for me all around. So now I switch into Lapras and I have 2 shields. Go ahead and get this Surf in. She's good. No, I have 1 shield because I blocked that Sludge Bomb. But anyway, she gets a charge move. It's Blast Burn. I blocked it. Awesome. So I get this Surf off. I charge up a little bit more. I get this Surf off and knock out Charizard. She has 2 Pokemon, one of them being Frenzy Plant Venusaur, knocks out my Lapras right here. I go ahead and send out my own Lapras again. And I get this Frenzy Plant off before she can get hers off, or what I suspect she'd be getting off. She has Quagsire left, and yep, Frenzy Plant, that's all she wrote, right? One shot, kill. GG. Alright, so getting into this last battle with Echo, I decided to go with the lineup that I felt comfortable with, a lineup that I practiced with in my practice battles, and that's the double grass technique. And so I lead off with Venusaur, and I bring in Charizard and Meganium. So again, the strategy is if I have a negative matchup in the lead, I let that faint. I bring in Charizard, which will probably counter whatever is countering my Venusaur. So whether that be Fortress or Charizard, like I can bring in my own Charizard and knock it out, and hopefully my Meganium can take out up 2 Pokemon. So in this case, you'll see what actually happens. It works out for me, but let's see how it goes. Alright, so getting into this battle, I lead off with Venusaur, she leads off with Fortress. So this is a terrible matchup. So my thought process is, okay, just do as much damage as I can and hope that Fortress uses all its energy. So I'm going to get these Frenzy Plants off, so that's 1, and I'm not going to block any moves that Fortress sends to me. So she's going to get a Heavy Slam off and pretty much knocks out my Venusaur. So now I'm going to send in my Charizard, hope that I can farm. So in reality, I think she should have switched right here, but she did not. And so she sends out Quagsire. Luckily for me, I have a Meganium, and so Meganium is going to be able to do a good amount of damage to her. She should have switched again right here. She should have switched into her other Pokemon, but she decided to leave it in. So probably a mistake on her part. So I think I just got really lucky. I'm just gonna Vine Whip her down, and she sends back out Fortress, and I use up all my energy to knock out her Fortress, and she sends out Venusaur. Now Venusaur probably would have been a better matchup against Meganium than Quagsire, but anyways, she's gonna use this Sludge Bomb, which is also, again, I think she clicked it right when I used Earthquake and I had Charge Move priority. Send out Charizard with the full Blast Burn, knock out Venusaur, and that's the last battle in this round. GG Echo. Alright, so 5th round. This was a very long tournament. 6 rounds is kind of crazy. I think this is probably one of the largest tournaments that I've participated in outside of regionals, if not the largest tournament I've participated in outside of regionals until that night, but that's a different story. Anyways, going up against Kelevra, at this point I think I am 3-1, and yeah, let's look at his team. So his team is very balanced. He has a Lapras, so he knows what's up. He's also using a Lantern, which I think is really good, but he's using a Mantine too. So at this point, I don't really know what I'm going to do, so I think I just lead off with Quagsire. Quagsire has a positive matchup against a good amount of his Pokemon. Neutral or good, Mantine, Fortress, Mirror Match, Lantern, those are all good matchups. He doesn't have a Fire, so what I do, I believe, is go Double Grass. So Quag, Double Grass is what I think I do. So yeah, let's see how I do. Alright, so getting into this matchup, lead off with Meganium, leads off with Quagsire, perfect lead. So I'm going to get a couple of Vine Whips in, he switches to Fortress, I switch into Quag, and so if he only has Fortress as a grass counter, then I should be good. I'm going to get this Stone Edge off. He's going to block it. Okay, that's fine. As long as I match shields, I believe I should get this matchup. So I get another Stone Edge off. He goes ahead and decides to shield that. Now I shield this. I should be able to get to another Stone Edge. I believe I do right here. Yep, barely, but I do. And if he decides to block this, I have the shield advantage. I'm going to go ahead and switch in to my Meganium. So he's going to get this charge move off. I'm not going to block it. It's Heavy Slam. That's fine. I'm going to get this Frenzy Plant off. He has no more shields. This should do a good amount of damage. Knock him out. I get one extra Vine Whip in. That's totally fine. He sends out Venusaur. So I don't think I'm going to get to that Earthquake in time. So I go ahead and use this Frenzy Plant. And remember, in the back, I have my own Venusaur. So I'm going to be able to block one of his charge moves and get off my Sludge Bomb. And I believe my Sludge Bomb will knock out his Venusaur at this HP. Sludge Bomb does neutral damage to Venusaur, so yep, GG. Oh no, he still has Quag. I'm tripping. He still has Quag. I still have a, but Frenzy Plant will knock it out. I had some energy, so GG. Alright, so for this second battle against Culebra, I feel like I'm hoping that he feels a little scorned by me using Double Grass, so I'm hoping he either leads with Venusaur or Mantine, something that can counter the grass pretty well. So I lead off with Lapras. Lapras will do good against Venusaur, Mantine, and Fortress, so I'm going to do that, hope that I can catch him kind of in a tilt. So yeah, so I lead off with Lapras, I go in with Venusaur and Quagsire. So let's see how I do. Alright, so we're going to get into this second battle with Culebra. I lead off with Lapras, he leads off with Mantine. Great first matchup. Lapras will beat Mantine as long as I match shields, so just gotta make sure I match those shields. I'm going to go ahead and use Surf. Now, he's going to let this go, so that's fine. I'm going to let this Aerial Ace go. And as you saw, it does almost the same amount of damage, Surf and Aerial Ace. But he's going to get another Aerial Ace off first. I'm going to go ahead and shield this up. I'm going to get a Surf off. He's not going to block that. So at this point, I should be able to take him down. I'm going to get another Surf off. If he doesn't block this, this should knock him out. So he does decide to block it, and he's going to get an Aerial Ace off. And this isn't going to kill me. As long as I match his shields, I should be able to take it. But I don't. What happened? Yeah, I just didn't get it off. So, but I bring in Venusaur, get a little bit of energy. So he's going to send out Fortress, and that's a bad matchup for me. I send in Quagsire. So it looks like he's going to stay in with his Fortress. So whatever this is, I don't block. Heavy Slam, luckily it wasn't an Earthquake. Get the Stone Edge off. He's going to switch. He has his own Quagsire. Now it's even shields. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake. It was just a feeling at that point. He decides to block it. He's going to get a charge move off. And it's Stone Edge. Unfortunately, I blocked that, but I think it would have killed me. So I'm going to try to get this other Earthquake off. And remember, I still have Venusaur in the back, so this should be okay. It's going to be pretty close though, so I'm going to let that Stone Edge go through. I knock out his Quagsire. I have stored energy. He does have a Fortress, but it has a less health than like my Venusaur. So I'm hoping I can get this. Yep, I get this Frenzy Plant off, and this should knock him out. It was so close though. I think he had an Earthquake ready to go. GG, man. Very close battle. Alright, so this is the last round, the 6th round. Unfortunately, pretty much what happened was my phone ran out of space, so I couldn't get any more screen captures, and I don't have a laptop, so I couldn't unload my footage from my phone to a laptop or anywhere. So yeah, I was unable to capture this round, but I ended up beating him again. Very close matchups. He does have a Lapras Mantine, and yeah, as you saw in the previous one, like I had pretty good success with my team against it. So I ended up winning it. Ended up going 5-1, and the person that ended up winning this open qualifiers was already qualified to participate at Worlds, so they didn't need the invitation. So it went to a tiebreaker, and what the tiebreaker is the highest global ranking. And so the person at this point, I did terrible at my regionals, I did terrible at my nightmare, so yeah, my ranking was pretty low. So the person that got invited was I believe it was Ali. She has a Ali Lucky, Ali Lucky, and she ran a very similar team to what I saw at my El Cerrito tournament. That footage will be up hopefully within the next week, so that whoever still has a Rainbow Cup can use that footage to learn what not to do, because I did terrible 1-4, but at the same time, it is what it is. Luckily, it wasn't weighted for me. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it guys. This is Bestinwest. I'll catch you guys later.